Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Like I said guys, today as of March 3rd, I'm pumping out videos left and right because I'm gonna be going on hiatus soon once my baby is born, or once my wife gives birth to our first baby boy. We're very excited, but because I'm going on that hiatus, which should be about 1 week or a little bit longer than 1 week after he's born, yeah, that's when you'll start seeing videos from me again. But I want to give all these videos to you guys early on ahead of time, so then that way you guys have some stuff to watch before I actually do come back. But in this video, we're taking a look at Act 2, Chapter 1, called Drawing Chaos. It's going to be a story overview for the next story piece of content that Global Opera Omnia is going to see. So we're finally getting Act 2, which is the second part of the story, starting off with Chapter 1. So with the arrival of this chapter, we get new content. Act 2 of the story begins. Now, unlike Act 1, where they have different chapters coming out, same thing with Chapter 2. Act 2, Chapter 1 is actually accessible after you clear only Chapter 1 from Act 1. So you don't need to clear all of Act 1 to actually be able to access Act 2. You only have to go through the tutorial and then pretty much just through Chapter 1, and then afterwards there's going to be like this white portal that appears in the map, and then you will be able to access Act 2. So this means we have more gems to harvest. So for those of you that are free-to-play players, this is a great opportunity to earn more gems to pull for the characters that you actually want. This is going to be bringing us a new character to recruit in 7 from Final Fantasy Type 0. She is the character that wields the Whip Blade type weapon, which reminds me of Ivy from Soul Calibur. And if you take a look at how 7 looks, she kind of looks like Lightning's twin, but with gray hair. I don't know, that's just me. She kind of looks like Lightning to me. And then the final boss battle is going to be a tough fight against Caius Ballad. That's right, so Caius is making his debut as a combatable villain in Opera Omnia. And then also the Kaiser Behemoth is going to be a boss alongside Caius Ballad. So it's going to be a pretty fun fight. Let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into this particular story event. So first of all, we're going to take a look at 7's overview and ability. So she is going to be joining us, like I said. So she wields that Whip Blade, and what she specializes in is a tri-elemental attack, and that comes from her second ability. And she also inflicts a unique debuff that is stacking, that lowers the target's defense, and the defense down increases in amount depending on the stacks, and we'll take a look at that when we actually talk about her abilities. Statistically, she excels in attack, max, brave, and speed, which is good because she is a damage dealing unit, and then she is affiliated with the red crystal. So if you have some red crystals to spare and you want to build up 7, well, by all means go ahead, because she's going to be coming to us relatively soon in the global version of the game. Now let's take a look at her abilities now. So I did this a little differently for this video. So we're going to take a look at her abilities when you have both her 15 CP and 55 passives equipped. So this is her abilities at their maximum potential with those 2 passives equipped. So Catch and Lash is going to be a 4-hit melee brave attack. It has a 240% brave damage potency. Now this potency jumps up to 480% if you're using it against a target that is afflicted with a unique debuff called Snake Bite. And this ability does inflict 1 stack of Snake Bite for 6 turns, and that caps out at 3 stacks. And Snake Bite lowers defense based on the stack. So first it starts off as -10, then -25, and finally at the cap it's at -50. However, when Snake Bite is applied to another target rather than the current target, it is going to be removed from the current target, and the stacks are reset. This attack does grant her 60% max brave for 6 turns. It does have an overflow up to 150% of max brave. It does deal HP damage when her brave reaches at least 100% or greater of her max brave, and this ability does have a high turn rate when breaking a target or attacking a broken target. Now let's take a look at her ability 2, called Elemental Lash. And now we are taking a look at it with its 35 CP and 60 passives equipped. So this is going to be a 4-hit Fire, Ice, Thunder. That's right, it represents all 3 elements, melee, brave, plus HP attack. It has a potency of 180% that inflicts small speed down for 4 turns. It does grant her 30% attack up for 6 turns, and it triggers a second cast of this ability, which doesn't use up any of its ability points if you're using this on a target that's afflicted with snake bite. So that's pretty powerful. It kind of reminds me of Jekt, and it does have a higher turn rate when you're breaking a target or attacking a broken target, just like her previous ability. And this also changes her Brave Attack to Brave Attack Plus, which is a one-hit melee Fire, Ice, Thunder Brave Attack that has a 130% Brave damage potency. Now let's take a look at her crystal passives. So at 5, she has Catch and Lash power up. You're gonna want that, increases the Brave damage. At 10, Break Boost, 10% max Brave increase for 1 turn after she breaks an enemy. You're gonna want that too because max Brave helps offense. At 15, she gets Start Speed up. I feel like this one is optional. 7 isn't the fastest character, but she has decent base speed, so this could help her out, but the CP cost is at 10, so if you have the CP to spare, might as well go ahead and use it, but if you want to use it on like an artifact passive, then use it on that. At 25, Elemental Lash power up, you do want that. Debuff attack up at 30, attack increase, yes, you would want that because she's going to be debuffing the target anyways. At 35, Cash and Lash charge is going to be good because additional usage for that ability. At 40, she gets Debuff Boost, 10% max Brave increase when an enemy is debuffed. Yes, you want this as well. At 45, Elemental Lash charge, you want that, additional usage for Elemental Lash. At 50, she gets All-Seeing Eye, so this is going to be a 10% increase to attack, defense, initial Brave, and max Brave when she has that Snake Bite unique buff afflicted on an enemy. And more than likely, if you're playing a 7, you're going to have that debuff active, so great passive. At 54, she has Debuff Attack and Speed up, a 30% attack increase, and a small speed increase when the enemy is debuffed. At CP cost 5, wonderful, wonderful value. And then finally, her last 3 passes, one at 55, Catch and Lash Extend, 80% Brave damage potency increase to that ability, Overflow for 150% of max Brave, triggers that HP attack at Brave, 100% or greater of max Brave, and that higher turn rate in breaking a target or attacking a broken target. Amazing at a CP cost of 15. At 58, debuff, attack, and boost up, 20% attack and max Brave increase when an enemy is debuffed. Yes, you want that, obviously. And then at 60, Elemental Lash, plus 1 skill usage. Brave hits is increased from 1 to 4. Brave damage potency is increased to 100%, and it grants her a 30% attack up for 6 turns. And it also has that higher turn rate when breaking a target or attacking a broken target. So overall, she has some pretty good passives, considering that she is primarily a damage dealing unit with that awesome unique debuff. Now let's take a look at her artifact passive. So she gets debuff guard up, defense increase when an enemy is debuffed. I'm gonna say it again, defense right now, unless they suddenly change something with the meta within the global version of the game, is not the most prioritized stat, so that's a pass. All-Seeing Eye boost, you're gonna definitely want that. And then Mighty Catch and Lash and Mighty Elemental Lash, I feel like are decent, but they're not as good as the recommended artifact passives, which is gonna be All-Seeing Eye boost 2-star, attack plus 108, and max Brave plus 330. Now, is 7 for fun or for glory? So her kit looks to be a cross between Lightning and Jekt. And hear me out on this. So Lightning has that, she has that mechanic where when she breaks a target with her abilities, she has that high chance to act again, which 7 does that too. She gets a higher turn rate. And then the reason why she's also kind of like Jekt, because with her 35 CP passive, with her second ability, she can use the ability twice, kind of like Jekt does with one of his abilities when you have that unique buff afflicted on a target. And what she really excels at is taking down single targets, because as you can see, she is really, really good at debuffing the target's defense, which means that your entire party, not just herself, can deal more damage, and that way you can really mow down that boss or whatever it is that you're fighting. And plus, she has Overflow with her first ability, which makes her pretty good as a damage dealing unit. However, while her kit looks cool, things that hurt her, in my opinion, and also from playing with her within the JP version of the game, is because that second ability is tri-elemental, if a boss you're fighting is even resistant to one of those elements, it's kind of detrimental if you think about it, because that means you're not going to be doing the maximum amount of damage that she could potentially do. And furthermore, as powerful as that snake bite unique debuff is, having the stack reset and then disappear when you apply it to another target, I feel like that hurts her. I don't understand why it does that. I mean, maybe, I guess they're trying to go with the whole concept that, you know, once a snake is fixated on its target, it never changes, but I mean, that's just a speculation. I don't know, but I kind of feel like that was a weird mechanic to give to that debuff, which I feel like hurts her usability. So Overall, while she is a good damage dealing unit who has her uses, I feel like the cons that I mentioned regarding the tri element and the on mechanic with her unique debuff brings her down to more of a character that's for fun. However, with the right team setup, I feel like she can still shine. One cool thing that I like about her is that because her second ability does have the thunder element, maybe you could run her with like Garnet, because Garnet does have an imperil with her second ability if you have the passive on her. So that's like one option that you can do. But overall, I feel like she's going to be a character more leaning towards for fun than for glory. All right, so let's take a look at the banner that comes out upon the release of Act 2, Chapter 1. So it features 3 new weapons, which is going to be 15 CP Silver Whip Blade for 7, which increases the Brave damage potency for Catch and Lash and grants her that small max Brave for 6 turns. The 35 CP is Platinum Whip Blade, which increases the Brave damage potency for Elemental Lash, inflicts small speed down for 4 turns, and triggers that second use if you're using Elemental Lash on a target afflicted with a Snake Bite unique debuff. And finally, there is an EX weapon on this banner in the form of Rem's Defender's Daggers. I did cover this in a previous X Factor, so be sure to check that out. But this gives her the ability Siphon Delta, which is a 2-hit AoE Magic Brave plus HP attack. It has a 100% HP damage to all, a high turn rate, heals the party's HP based on the HP damage she deals, up to 20% of their max HP. Excess heals converts to Brave, and grants her the unique buff Siphon for 1 turn, which essentially grants her a free ability usage and also a medium attack up to herself for 5 turns. So quite an amazing EX. Now, should you pull on this banner? Well, let's see who's featured on this banner. Rem, Seven, and Shadow. Shadow, I feel like, is an underrated DPS unit, but compared to the other damage dealing units that we have, he does fall short. Seven herself, I feel like, is the same deal. Like I explained earlier, what I feel like hurts her kit. Rem is the definite jackpot on this. So if you're looking for another support unit who is different from Selfie and Katesith, because Selfie and Katesith are like the support units that are the most commonly run right now in Global. And what I like about Rem with this EX is she has that free ability usage. Plus she already has some shenanigans with, you know, passing her turn on to somebody else. And I like her for that. I feel like if you like a different support unit that functions differently, a little bit more advanced mechanics, and this is definitely a must pull. However, unless any of these 3 characters are your favorites, I feel like it is another pass. But again, like I said, pull for your favorites. That is the most important thing when it comes to playing Opera Omnia. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is the boss, the final boss. So the final stage of this story event has us up against not only Caius himself, which is the antagonist from Final Fantasy 13-2, but also up against the Kaiser Behemoth. And in the wave before the last one, we're up against Caius. So what does Caius do? Well, first of all, he has no weakness or resistance. He has a chase value of 40, which is standard for most bosses. He has an AoE Brave magic attack called Giga Graviton that delays every target by 1 turn and also has a low turn rate. So you want to be careful of that because that's quite powerful. He also has 2 different single target Brave plus HP attacks, which can potentially KO a party member if they're at a below Brave amount. He can also inflict debuffs of initial Brave, max Brave defense, attack, and speed down with Eye of Bahamut, and he also buffs himself with Body and Soul, which increases his attack, defense, speed, max Brave, initial Brave, and he also grants regen to his HP and Brave. So that's one of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're up against Caius. And then right after him, when you knock him out, we're up against the Kaiser Behemoth. So first off, this boss, again, does not have any weakness or resistance, which I guess is good. So then that way you don't have to worry about elements or what summon to bring. Chase value of 40. He does have 2 different stances, which is essentially what you need to know about this boss. Quadrupedal and bipedal. So the boss starts off with quadrupedal. Essentially, he's on all 4 limbs. With this, he uses standard behemoth ability. So if you're familiar with fighting against a behemoth, it's pretty much going to be like fighting a standard behemoth. But when you get his HP brought down to about 50 to 60%, it's around that threshold, he switches to bipedal stance. So what he does when he does this is he stands up, so now he's on 2 limbs, he heals all of his HP, removes all debuffs, including any framed ones or unique ones, and grants himself enfeeblement up, which means he can inflict debuffs a lot better, attack up, and defense up, and to top it off, he also resists physical attacks. So he gets a lot more difficult to defeat when he goes into bipedal. And also in bipedal, he has the ability to inflict to the entire party max brave and defense down. So that max brave, I feel like, is probably the worst one, because that means that the HP damage you're dealing is not going to be as high. The defense down is pretty lethal too, because that means that it's easier to break a party member. So want to watch out for that bipedal stance, definitely, when you're fighting against Kaiser Behemoth. Alright, so for some final tips to prepare before entering Act 2, Chapter 1 is, if you're planning to build up 7, get your red crystals ready. The hard mode version of the final battle is probably one of the most challenging story battles that we're going to be receiving for a while, and I recommend bringing a high damaging magic DPS team. And the only reason why I say this is because that bipedal stance resists physical attacks, so even if you have one physical damage dealing member, it's going to be quite a pain to really chip away at the Kaiser Behemoth's brave and HP. And the team example that I gave is also a team that I used when I played through this boss battle on hard on JP, which is Lael, Setzer, and Terra. And the most difficult task in the final battle is definitely saving your abilities for Kaiser Behemoth, because remember, you're fighting Caius before him. So it's recommended to maybe bring characters who have access to Brave Attack Plus or HP Attack Plus, because they have longevity. That way they have other options to use for the Caius part of this battle, so then that way you have as many ability points saved up when you actually go up against the Kaiser Behemoth. And then talking about the character 7, since she is the one that we recruit that's new for this story chapter, she receives a level 70 awakening, which is pretty cool, but she has yet to receive a rework, which is a little sad that she only got the level 70, or an EX weapon. So at this point, if you decide to build her up, she lasts maybe for, I don't know, a little bit after she comes out, but she does get power crept hard once we start seeing characters such as like Golbez, Renoa, even Agrius, who deal a ton of damage and just essentially bench 7. But again, like I said, if 7 is one of your favorite characters, if you love her, she's your waifu, then by all means go ahead and pull. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to my JP account so I can show you guys some gameplay footage and visuals for the upcoming Act 2, Chapter 1, coming out to Global Opera Omnia. Let's go ahead and move on to that. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the gameplay visual showcase. What I'm going to be doing is actually tackling the Act 2, Chapter 1 final boss fight. I'm going to do it on normal, and the only reason why is I don't want the video to be too long, since it is just a visual showcase. Now to access Act 2, you see that white portal there underneath me? I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And that brings you over to Act 2. So that's how it's going to be when this actually goes live on Global. And this does go live March 14th. And if you guys need clarification on that, the calendar is actually in-game for the global version of the game. So just look at the information and it's there. Kudos to Square Enix, by the way, for providing us that nice event calendar. It helps out a lot. And there is Act 2, Chapter 1. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And I do want to tackle the final battle here. Alright, we're loading a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna go to normal. As you can see, this is the map for Act 2, Chapter 1. That is it right there. Now let's go ahead and find that final battle. Is this it? No, that's the one against Caius. We want the one against Caius and the Kaiser Behemoth. And also, one thing that I have to say about this battle, it's really fun. As hard as this battle is, there it is. This is actually one of my favorite battles that I've played through while playing the JP version, and it's still going to be my favorite up to now once this actually goes live on Global. Because it's not only is it challenging, but it really makes you think, because it's like you're fighting against an already difficult boss in Caius, and then you got to go up against the Kaiser Behemoth, who has two different stances, so really makes you think. So I'm going to actually be taking 7, I'm going to be taking Lael, and I'm going to be taking Selfie. A few things that I want to note is that my Lael has its EX, which is something we have yet to see in Global, and then my Selfie is at level 70. She didn't receive a rework, but she did get a level 70, and she does have her EX weapon, which we have yet to see in Global. But hey, that's not bad. So we're going to go ahead and tackle this event. Let's see if I'm going to bring a friend unit here. Let's bring Quistis, and let's go. Alright, so we're gonna start off by buffing my characters with Wall by Selfie. Alright, and let's go ahead and take a look at her Catch and Lash. Alright, and with Lael, let's just take down this mob. Alright, so there's 2 waves before we actually go up against Caius and the Kaiser Behemoth. Alright, so now we're going to go up against Caius. So remember, one of the things that you want to remember is that he has an AoE magic brave attack that does delay the party, so be careful of that, and he also buffs himself. Alright, so we're going to apply the snake bite. Alright, let's go ahead and use Drain. So this won't look as difficult as it should, only because this is on normal, but again, this is just a visual showcase. And let's take a look at Elemental Lash now that he has Snake Bite. So remember, this attacks twice when you have that. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just Brave Attack, because I want Caius to actually do something, so you guys get to see it. Alright, let's see what Caius does. Alright, there you go. See that delay? He delayed everybody, so he was able to take another turn. Now, if that was on hard, that probably would have hurt because he would have done something crazy, but that's the one ability that you want to watch out for. So let's go ahead and finish him off. And we're going to go ahead and fight against the Kaiser Behemoth. So remember, this Behemoth has 2 different stances, quadrupedal and bipedal. At quadrupedal, he's not that threatening, but when he gets to bipedal is where he gets really, really threatening. Alright, so this is Selfie's EX right here. Essentially what it does is not only does it not take up the turn count, but it also allows her EX and everybody else's EX ability to charge faster. And it has that nice vocal theme. Alright, so there it goes. At around 50 to 60%, or that was way below that because this is only the normal version. It does heal itself and go into bipedal, and it does resist physical and range attacks. I'm going to demonstrate that here. So as you can see, it resists it. So this is why you want to bring a primarily magic DPS based party because of this boss. And you also want to make sure when you're doing the hard version of this is to be careful with your abilities, because if you run out of abilities before this boss is going to be pretty hard to take down. All right, let's take a look at Lael's EX, which we have yet to see. He like rides a surfboard. All right, and we'll let 7 have the final blow. All right. Well, again, that is the gameplay visual showcase for the upcoming Act 2, Chapter 1, which again is going to be going live March 14th within the global version of the game. And again, like I said, if you need clarification on that, there is an event calendar now present within the info or the news of the global version of the game. So just be sure to check that if you guys really need to clarify what I'm talking to you guys about here. But hopefully this video helps you guys get prepared for this. Again, I'm pumping out videos left and right for today as of March 3rd before I take my hiatus for my family. Thank you guys again for being patient with me, being so supportive, and also keeping the Broadway Saiyan alive, because I love doing this for you guys and just entertaining and giving you guys this content as far as Dissidia Opera Omnia. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for my next video, and mahal, everyone.